season, September, October. You like to have yours established by now, but in terms of Buffalo and the way they ran the ball today, JJ, is this that identity-affirming moment that if we are going to succeed, we are going to do so within the tackle box?
Yes. However, and a little bit of cold water on this, because this is a big win for Buffalo. I don't know that I would call it a must-win necessarily, but a big win for Buffalo. Josh Allen took a lot of hits in a very physical game tonight. And we know that this Buffalo team goes as Josh Allen goes. And we know that James Cook can run the football and run it very effectively. And yes, you're going to use Josh Allen in short yardage situations. There's no question, no doubt about it. But Josh Allen had 23-plus dropbacks tonight, and he had 8 rushing attempts for 38 yards. Pittsburgh was thumping him. And I do wonder, you know, he has the elbow that he's been faced with. Is that going to be sustainable? We have seen any number of quarterbacks this season who think that they are bigger than the opponent, go and run into that opponent and realize that dude gets paid too, and it hurts. And I know Josh Allen's been doing this for a while. I don't know how sustainable running between the tackles for the quarterback, Josh Allen, is going to be in very physical January AFC playoff ball.
What they need to do, they need to start tapering when they decide to utilize him in the running game. Because James Cook is RB1, you know, and we oftentimes complain about why they take the ball out of James Cook's hand. When you give him the opportunities, he can give you this said production. They took the football out of his hands against the Houston Texans when in the first quarter he had almost 80 yards. Remember, he broke one off for 60 or 70 plus, and you just, hey, we don't want to give you the football anymore. Not saying that's what they did, but that's what it felt like. So to your point, I think they get mesmerized with Josh looking like an avatar, how big he is, how athletic he is, but he will get hit. They fall on him, they thump him, and it will add up, especially towards December and January. So just taper it, but you don't want to take him out of the game plan because when he's a +1 in the running game, it's hard to stop them.
And you're hesitant to change how he's playing the game because sometimes those run plays are Josh deciding it's time to run the football.
And just get down. It's okay to learn how to baseball slide. Slide into second or third base.
And he still took a hit on one of those baseball slides.
That they did not throw a flag.
No flag there. Should have certainly been a flag. We could go for days here on the shortcomings of the Pittsburgh Steelers defensively, but the offense doesn't show up in this one either. It's an offense that had a quarterback dealing with fractures in his offhand. It looked to be part of the way they called this game. A lot of pistol, a lot of shotgun for A-Rod in this for 20. This is a team that ran it somewhat effectively with Kenneth Gainwell a week ago.
And on top of that, they run the XL package the most out of anyone in the NFL, and they was not still able to have an efficient running game. So for me, like you said, Aaron Rodgers he's been having trouble throwing the ball down the field anyway. And they need another receiver on top of that. But
can we get B-Mac back on camera here because
I don't know
it feels like it's compounded. But looking at that schedule, Mac, doesn't it feel like Groundhog's Day a little bit? Maybe it's happening earlier than it has in years past, but losers,
it's around the same time.
I think we just saw in 5 of their last 7. They start hot. They're September's heroes. We start feeling like this might be that turnaround season.
They eat that Thanksgiving turkey.
And then the tryptophan hits them like a brick wall.
We've seen this in years past. What
is the through line?
Why they don't thrive and more so survive. They lack playmakers. You just asked Pat a question about the passing game and how, bland it was. When you don't have playmakers, it's hard. Especially when you're playing against playoff caliber teams, right? But when you had a playmaker and you let him go, in George Pickens, it's hard to replace that said playmaker.
They tried.
And right now, the only playmaker they have in the passing game is DK Metcalf in terms of explosion.
Who created a playmaker elsewhere in Seattle with JSN being the one. So the ripple effects in the world of wide receivers is felt off that deal.
And JJ, you're right. They've tried multiple times. But even the guys they were trying to bring in don't have that it factor like George Pickens naturally has. And we're seeing it. So just think about if George Pickens, and this is a hypothetical, but Steeler fans, rock with me here. Just think about if this George Pickens that we're watching in Dallas was still a part of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Remember what George Pickens was doing with Trubisky at the quarterback position, Mason Rudolph at the quarterback position, Kenny Pickett. He was giving you numbers, given the opportunities. But if you would have put him with Aaron Rodgers and DK and the tight ends, now you got to pick and choose what you're going to do because you got a guy you got to respect. Pat, you know how it is when you're in the secondary, when you don't have wide receivers that you don't game plan for them. You feel like, no, they don't have a matchup that we're concerned with. And when you play against Pittsburgh, make sure DK don't get off. Now let's see, can the other guys beat you? Like I said, DK had 3 receptions. No other wide receiver caught a pass.
I think there's no creativity either in that offense, in my opinion, especially in the passing game.
Which hurts when you don't have playmakers.
It's hard to be creative in 2.4 seconds. If they can't protect in front of Aaron Rodgers and the whole game plan is quick this way, quick that way, George Pickens might look great on a tunnel screen, but it's still not George Pickens running deep ins, George Pickens running deep overs, the things that require time and accuracy downfield.
Joe, you played wide receiver. I used to play a little bit in high school. I think Pat did as well. And JJ, you probably played also.
Well, I covered him.
But I know one thing about being able to minimize the pass rush. What was George Pickens running in Thanksgiving? Slants. How many times was he open?
I do feel that JJ has a retort here.
I'm just saying,
listen,
I'm venting right now.
I know you are, but we also have to be honest about the player and person and teammate that George Pickens was when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so while I do enjoy this theory of the Dallas Cowboys George Pickens coming and transporting himself to the Pittsburgh Steelers again, I don't know that the Dallas Cowboys George Pickens is ever created unless he gets traded from Pittsburgh and learns a bit of a very important lesson in that. Okay.
I can tell you this much.
What's he going to?
You would love to find
out. I want to see. I want to see, can he create and be more dependable, a better teammate? You know what? If I'm Pittsburgh,
he was showing up to games like 20 minutes before kickoff with Pittsburgh.
Well, JJ, if you were dealing with it for 3 years.
You got one more year.
I've got one more year at least to see, can he grow up?
You know, he's got the celebration. You never know who's going to come out from behind the curtains.
All I'm saying is, I understand your point, and I'm not saying you're wrong, JJ, but all I'm saying is, I want to see what it looks like with George Pickens in the huddle with DK and Aaron Rodgers and Jonnu Smith and Fire Mode. I want to see. And now, if he's still not developing like you want him to develop, he's still a great trade piece.
You got Madden?
Before the trade deadline.
You got Madden?
I do.
Ultimate Team?
I don't want to do that because
that's the only way you're going to find out. That's the only way you're going to find out.
Everything we're talking about is because of things like that. And you guys know how hard it is to have playmakers in the National Football League.
They traded one away. They traded one away for a day 2 pick.
Again, a cautionary tale of the past. You just can't let it happen again in the future.
Steelers Nation, brace yourselves. What happened at Acrisure Stadium was more than just a loss. It was a brutal wake-up call. The final score said 26-7, but the real damage cut deeper than any scoreboard can show. This wasn't a close call. This wasn't a matter of a few bad plays. This was a collapse across every phase of the game, and it laid bare everything that's wrong with this 2025 Steelers squad. The game started somewhat promising. Early in the first quarter, defensive back Brandon Eccles jumped a pass from Josh Allen and picked him off. In that moment, hope flickered. The defense had made a statement. Maybe we were still capable of fighting. Then offense got moving. A drive built on runs, a connection here and there, and Jaylen Warren punched the ball into the end zone. We were up 7-0, the crowd erupted, Acrisure was alive with energy. For a moment, it felt like maybe we'd flipped the switch. But we all know how those moments end when they're not backed by foundation, because that foundation collapsed spectacularly. The second half came with icy vengeance. Joey Bosa exploded through our offensive line and strip-sacked Aaron Rodgers. The turnover was returned for a touchdown. Just like that, it was 10-7, and Rodgers was hurt. His arm rattled, arm sling, agonizing grip. In a blink, the battle turned into damage control. In walked Mason Rudolph, the backup, with the weight of a season on his shoulders. His first snap, an overthrow into double coverage, picked off. Turnover. Momentum gone. With the next drive, the Bills ran over us and the rout began. Touchdown after touchdown, yard after yard, 249 rushing yards. Every missed tackle, every blown coverage, every silent blitz, that's points. And at the end, not just a loss, but boos, chants of fire Tomlin, and a fan base left wondering if their team still knows what it means to fight. This isn't just about Rodgers being hurt or Rudolph faltering. This is about systemic failure. The offensive line got manhandled. The run game vanished. The defense, supposedly the heart and soul of the franchise, turned into Swiss cheese. We've got injuries piling up, Patrick Queen, James Pierre out, secondary depth gone, linebackers missing, and a path to a respectable season slipping fast. The locker room looked lost, the field looked broken, and the noise from the stands painful. But here's the thing, Steelers Nation, we're not ready to fold. Not yet. Because every great franchise has moments like this. Moments where you get lost, but you find yourself again through pain and anger. This one loss, it doesn't define us. How we respond will. The playoffs are still mathematically possible. The division isn't sealed. The Ravens haven't locked it up. We still hold coin flips, tiebreakers, destiny itself. But that requires fight. It requires grit. It requires boldness. So I'm calling on the players, on the staff, on the front office, and on you, Steelers Nation. Clean up the mess. Remember what this badge stands for: discipline, toughness, unbreakable will. Fix the fundamentals, block, tackle, protect the quarterback, run the football. Get healthy, own the trenches, respect the game. Because if we don't rebuild now, mentally, physically, this could be the tumble that rewrites our 2025 story. And to every fan watching, I ask you, are you still in this fight with us? Do you believe in a comeback? Drop your answers in the comments. Share your anger, your hurt, your hope. Smash like if you still bleed black and gold. Hit subscribe if you're riding with us no matter what. Because this channel, this community, and this team, we don't quit when it gets ugly. We dig in, we rise, we fight. This is Steelers Nation Wire. The scoreboard lies, the heart doesn't.